The Song, a dynasty of several firsts. The Song dynasty was an imperial dynasty of China that ruled from 960 until 1279, and not to be confused with the earlier Song state that existed from the 11th century BC until 286 BC, or with the Liu Song dynasty that ruled from 420 until 479. The Song dynasty was founded by Emperor Taizu of Song, who usurped the throne of the Later Zhou before conquering the remaining remnants of the 10 kingdoms, and with it bringing about an end to the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period. During their period of rule, the Song often found themselves in conflict with their contemporaries, the Liao, the Western Xia, and the Jin dynasties, located in the north of China. After retreating to southern China following repeated attacks from the Jin dynasty, the Song was eventually replaced by the Mongol-led Yuan dynasty. The history of the Song is divided into 2 periods: the Northern Song of 960 until 1127, and the Southern Song of 1127 until 1279. During the Northern Song, the capital was at Bianjing, now known as Kaifeng, in Henan province, and controlled most of what is now eastern China. The Southern Song was the result of the Jurchen-led Jin-Song Wars, which led to the Song loss of control of its northern territories and the subsequent retreat to the south of the Yangtze River and establishing its capital at Linan, which is now Hangzhou in Zhejiang province. Continue watching to discover those firsts mentioned in the title. The Song dynasty had lost control of the traditional Chinese heartland around the Yellow River. However, the Southern Song contained a large population and had productive agricultural land that was able to sustain a robust economy. In 1234, the Jin dynasty was conquered by the Mongols, who took control of northern China while maintaining uneasy relations with their neighbors to the south. Mongke Khan, the 4th great Khan of the Mongol Empire, died in 1259 while besieging the mountain castle Diao Yuchong in Chongqing. His younger brother, the now famous Kublai Khan, became the new Great Khan and founded the Yuan dynasty in 1271. After 2 decades of sporadic warfare, the Song dynasty was defeated by Kublai Khan's armies, with the final battle taking place at the Battle of Yamen in 1279 to recreate a unified China. Technology and society. The Song dynasty was an era when several innovations occurred in areas of technology, science, philosophy, mathematics, and engineering. The Song dynasty was the first in the world to issue paper money as well as to issue banknotes or real money. It is also the first government within China to establish a permanent standing navy. Another first was the introduction of a chemical formula to create gunpowder and the invention of gunpowder-related weapons, such as fire arrows, bombs, and the fire lance. It was the first to discern true north through the use of a compass, the first recorded description of the pound lock or canal locks, and improvements to the designs of astronomical clocks. Economically, the Song dynasty had a gross domestic product 3 times larger than that of 12th century Europe. The population of China doubled in size during the 10th and 11th centuries. This was largely a result of improvements to the cultivation of rice and the widespread food surpluses. A census taken during the Northern Song era recorded 20 million households, double the number during the Han and Tang dynasties. The estimated population of the Northern Song was around 90 million people. This number grew in excess of 200 million by the time of the Ming dynasty. The central government gradually withdrew from direct involvement in economic affairs, giving that responsibility to regional levels of government due to a number of reasons, including population growth, expansion of cities, in addition to the improved national economy. Administration at the lower level led to bigger roles for the lower gentry in administration. Social life during the Song dynasty became vibrant as citizens had the freedom to view and trade precious art. The population also intermingled at public festivals as cities developed lively entertainment venues. Literature and knowledge spread through the rapid advances in woodblock printing and the 11th century invention of movable type printing. Philosophers such as Cheng Yi and Zhu Xi helped to invigorate Confucianism as it became infused with Buddhist ideals. Civil service examinations had been in existence since the Sui dynasty, but they became more prominent during the dynasty of the Song. Officials gaining power through the imperial examination led to a shift from aristocratic military elite to one based on scholar bureaucratic achievements. Northern Song, 960 to 1127. After his victory over the Later Zhou dynasty, it took another 16 years for Emperor Taizu of Song to conquer the rest of China, reuniting most of the territory once ruled by the Han and Tang dynasties, and bringing to an end the period of upheaval that was the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms. Taizu of Song established a strong central government in his capital of Kaifeng. Cartographers were tasked with creating detailed maps of each province and city. These were collated in a large atlas. Diplomatic relations were maintained with Chola India, the Fatimid Caliphate of Egypt, Srivijaya, the Kara Khanate in Central Asia, the Goryeo Kingdom in Korea, and other trade partners allied with Japan. Relations with China's closest neighboring states were not always as cordial, with alternating periods of peace and warfare with the ethnic Khitans of the Liao dynasty and the Tanguts in Western Xia. The Song engaged in military operations with the Liao to try and recapture the 16 prefectures, a territory under Khitan control since 938 and considered to be part of China proper. After being repulsed by the Liao, who regularly made advances into northern Song territory until 1005, when the signing of the Shan-Yuan Treaty ended those clashes along the northern Song's northern frontier. The Song were forced to pay tribute to the Liao, while the Song considered their northern neighbour to be their equal. The Song managed to win territory over the Tanguts in the early 11th century, but those gains were later lost due to military failures. The Song also fought against the Vietnamese kingdom of Dai Viet on 2 occasions, the first in 981, followed by a significant war in 1075 that did not end until 1077 over a border dispute. The Vietnamese inflicted heavy damage after a raid on Guangxi. This was followed by the Song commander Hoa Quay invading Vietnamese territory as far south as modern-day Hanoi. Heavy losses sustained by both sides led to the Vietnamese commander Thuong Kiet pursuing peace. This led to both sides withdrawing their forces from captured territories and returning prisoners of war by 1082. Reforms and accusations of corruption led to a peasant rebellion in 1120, blamed mostly on an increase in taxes. The concentration of land ownership and oppressive government measures, while the Song Central Court remained politically divided and focused solely on its internal affairs. Alarming events in the Liao state finally came to the attention of the Song leadership. The Jurchen, a subject tribe of the Liao, had rebelled against their masters and formed their own state, which led to the creation of the Jin dynasty in 1115. Dongguan, a Song official, advised Emperor Huizong to form an alliance with the Jurchens, and a joint military campaign saw the toppling of the Liao dynasty by 1125. However, the Jurchens had observed the poor performance and military weakness of the northern Song, immediately broke the alliance and began the Jin-Song Wars of 1125 and 1127. The Jin army quickly marched across the North China Plain to Kaifeng. In the Jin-Kang incident during the 1127 invasion, the Jurchens not only captured the capital, they also captured the now retired Emperor Huizong and his successor Emperor Qinzong, as well as most of the imperial court. The remaining Song forces were able to regroup under the self-proclaimed Emperor Gaozong of Song and withdrew to the south of the Yangtze River and established a new capital at Linan, modern-day Hangzhou. The Jurchen conquest of North China and the shifts of capitals from Kaifeng to Linan became the dividing line between the northern and southern Song dynasties. After falling to the Jin, the Song lost control of North China. Now in control of what many considered to be China proper, the Jin regarded themselves as the rightful rulers of China. The Jin chose earth as their dynastic element and yellow as the royal color. According to the theory of the five elements, the earth element follows that of fire, the dynastic element of the Song, in sequence of elemental creation. In doing this, the Jin considered the Song reign in China complete, with the Jin replacing the Song as the rightful rulers of China proper. Southern Song, 1127 to 1279. Although weak and pushed south beyond the Hui River, the Southern Song found new ways to bolster its strong economy and defend against the Jin. It had able military officers, and the government sponsored massive shipbuilding and harbour improvement projects. Beacons were constructed, as well as seaport warehouses to support overseas maritime trade, particularly at its major seaports of Guangzhou, Guangzhou and Xiamen. To both protect and support ships sailing the waters of the East China Sea to Korea and Japan, or further afield to Southeast Asia, the Indian Ocean and the Red Sea, an official navy was established. China's first established permanent navy was founded in 1132, with its headquarters at Dinghai. With the permanent navy, the Song was able to face the naval force of the Jin on the Yangtze River in 1161. In first, the Battle of Tangdao, followed by the Battle of Kuaishou, the Song used fast paddle-wheel-driven vessels armed with traction trebuchet catapults that launched gunpowder bombs. Although the Jin had a navy of 70,000 men on 600 warships, the Song force of 3,000 men on 120 warships were victorious due to the destructive power of the bombs combined with the speed of their paddle-wheel ships. A century after the Song Navy was founded, it had grown to a force of 52,000 Marines. Although the Southern Song was able to hold back the Jin, a new enemy came to power over steppe, plains and deserts to the north of the Jin dynasty. The Mongols, led by Genghis Khan, invaded the Jin territory, first in 1205, then again in 1209. These initial border raids were followed in 1211 by an enormous Mongol army being assembled with the intention of invading the Jin. The Jin dynasty was later forced to submit and pay tribute to the Mongols as vassals. When the Jin moved their capital from Beijing to Kaifeng, the Mongols saw this as a revolt under the leadership of Ogedai Khan. Both the Jin dynasty and Western Xia dynasty were conquered by the Mongol army in 1233-34. At first, the Mongols were allies of the Song, but this alliance was broken when the Song recaptured the former imperial capitals of Kaifeng, Luoyang and Chang'an as the Jin dynasty collapsed. After the first Mongol invasion of Vietnam in 1258, the Mongols attacked Guangxi from Hanoi as part of a coordinated attack with other Mongol armies attacking Sichuan under the leadership of Mongke Khan and the other Mongol armies attacking what is today Shandong and Henan. On August 11, 1259, Mongke Khan died during the siege of Daoyu Castle in Chongqing. Mongke Khan was succeeded by Kublai Khan, who continued the assault against the Song. By the winter of 1259, the army that had attacked from Vietnam met up with Kublai's army, which besieging Zhou in Hebei. The assault on Zhou was halted due to a pending civil war with Kublai's brother Arik Boker, a rival claimant to the Mongol leadership, and Kublai was forced to move back to the north with the bulk of his army. After this time, there were several minor border skirmishes until 1265, before Kublai won a major battle in Sichuan. From 1268 until 1273, the Yangtze River was blockaded by Kublai's navy, and Xianyang, his last obstacle to invading the Yangtze River basin, was besieged. Kublai officially declared the Yuan dynasty in 1271, although the Song dynasty was not at that time defeated. However, by 1276, most of the Song territory had been captured by the Yuan forces, including the Song capital of Linan. In the Battle of Yamen on the Pearl River Delta in 1279, the Yuan army, led by General Zhang Hongfang, finally crushed the last of the Song resistance. The last remaining ruler of the Song, 13-year-old Emperor Taizu, committed suicide along with his Prime Minister Liu Song and 1,300 members of the royal clan. Song Dynasty conclusion. The Song Dynasty was a period of administrative sophistication and complex social organization. Some of the world's largest cities were at that time in China, with Kaifeng and Linan each having populations in excess of 1 million people. There were social clubs and places of entertainment in the cities, as well as schools and temples for learning and religion. There were social welfare programs that included retirement homes, public clinics, and paupers' graveyards. There was a well-developed, widespread postal service that had been modelled on the earlier system introduced during the Han Dynasty of 202 BC to 220 AD. In rural areas, plots of land were either owned by peasant farmers, they paid rents as tenant farmers, or they were serfs on large estates. At its height, the Song military had around 1 million soldiers. The elite of these were crossbowmen who provided effective barrages of fire against opposing cavalry charges. The navy developed by the Song was another effective fighting force, with its largest ships capable of carrying 1,000 soldiers. Other military advances included the use of gunpowder in weapons, as early versions of flamethrowers, explosive grenades, and cannons, details of which were written in the Wujing Zongyao manuscript of 1044. Weapons of this magnitude were not used in Europe until at least the 14th century. That brings us to the end of this video, highlighting an era of many historic firsts. If you have enjoyed watching and it's shown you a little detail of life and events here in China, then your subscribing to my channel would mean a lot to me. Thank you for watching. Make sure you click on the link to the next video, and until the next time, goodbye for now.